in the morning. You got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening. Wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again. Argue about everything. You are my darling. This kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day. I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay. We just gotta boom, bada boom, ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right. Baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
Just me, myself, and I'm my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted.
Like whoa,
Bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before it's centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, deadly too. Play for keys, don't tweet. It's my peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me.
I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play, the sun still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the salad, it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop, like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I want the checks, yeah.
I don't want the second, I want best.
I want best, yeah.
By any means, that's a triple threat.
A triple threat.
Yeah, this is getting bigger, I might
flex.
I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
I hit recorded drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, Finnish friends on my face, looking like I'm from the D. D's no Cartiers, pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip was not a new, now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, whoa.
Fire! Kosher clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up in young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
All right, guys, we back, man. Yeah, my man, peace with life. Peace with life. Hey, man, I see right now, man. I'm gonna have to cut it, and I'm gonna cut it, and we're gonna finish listening to it. But I'm not gonna use the actual one on the system because somehow, man, if you play it too long, they'll stop the shit. It's stupid, man, because you're stopping and pausing it, so it's fair use. So I don't even understand why this says it's a policy violation. But you said something that was very powerful and funny, man. What did you say, man? It took me to a tailspin. You were saying something about why is he so enamored by a woman that does something? I forgot what it was, and and then you just got animated, man. You messed me up, man.
No, I mean, it is what it is, man. But you're talking about a 1% man thirsting after some 304 in a relationship with a known individual to take part in the trafficking business.
Right.
You know, I know allegedly, we don't want to indict anybody for anything, you know, what he's already been. And this man has had kids with this woman. This man has been married to this woman. This man has been in a relationship with this woman. And we have a guy that's thirsting after her. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. And he's flexing on it. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I don't see the benefit of him being so enamored, you know, by a woman that I'm sure folks can argue she's had a lot of fun, and she's not even a top tier woman in my opinion. But go ahead, brother.
That's like Future flexing on banging Scottie Pippen's wife.
Right.
Hey, dude didn't put 4 kids up in her.
Right.
You suck. You weak. That's a degenerate thing.
Right.
You still kissing on Scottie Pippen's nuts. That doesn't make you look powerful as a man.
Right. No, I agree.
Eat another man's leftovers.
Right. Chew food.
You know, like when did that become? Well, I mean, obviously, men have always lusted after whatever, but I'm saying but you were like a 1% dude. I'm talking about we see other dudes do that, but I'm saying like you're like a 1% dude. I mean, that doesn't really change it. But how does that something to celebrate? I mean, dudes do it behind the scenes, but how are you celebrating that?
I totally agree, man. They don't have no standards, man.
He's stepping to a man for his wife.
Right.
I mean, the ultimate weasel, low frequency, low quality stuff. You telling me that you going at what kind of? This is what the problem with those women, okay? Especially black women. Do you ever listen to what these guys be saying and investigating? What kind of honor or code or integrity that sounds like for a man to be challenging or going to a woman and say, yeah, where's your punk ass husband at? Not even knowing that if the man was still married. Imagine addressing that. What if she was married to that guy still?
Right.
What type of respectable man would do that? Mm-hmm. And that's what women need to understand, who you're listening to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I definitely wouldn't be enamored by no Marjorie Harvey, man. You know, and it's obvious, like I said, man, you know, Steve Harvey is the problem with a lot of men now, because they don't have any standards. And I don't care how good looking she look. I'm not impressed by Marjorie Harvey, man.
But
are you? Right.
No, not with that history.
Not impressed at all. Right.
But he flexing, the way he's flexing, you can tell he act like he's won some type of prize or he's hit the, you know, he's knocked the ball out of the ballpark or something. And right. Again, that's the mentality and frequency you see. The problem is that unfortunately a lot of brothers, black men, have some low standards.
Right.
And it is a problem in the community, and obviously a lot of guys take a lot of mediocrity. You see some dudes that will really take anything, man.
But let me ask you a question. Where do you think it came from? Because, you know, we simped back in Gen X, man, but it seemed like we had higher standards back in Gen X, man. I know I did. Certain women I just didn't damn look at. If you had, you know, baby mama, you know, or you was known to be ran through, I didn't look at you. You know, I mean, we could be friends, but I'm gonna take you serious with my woman. But now, you know, with this new culture now, man, guys don't have no damn standards, man. They just take anything, man.
Well, you know, what's his name? BGS Igmore. He had made a video back. Well, one of the times I popped up on his show, and he has talked about back in the day on the plantations or whatever, some people would not live long. A guy would drop dead out there on the plantation, and another guy would come in and help take out for the kids. Right. Or whatever, help take care of the woman and the kids. And he's saying, basically, you're saying that this has been implanted in black men, this simp bug that men have to overcome. It's like you have to go through a metamorphosis or an exorcism to remove it out of many guys, especially if they haven't had a masculine patriarchal type father in the household. Or, you know, he had a father, but, you know, again, with the culture, you know, it's no telling what kind of brainwashing that he's had. But I think that's where that may come from. In a matriarchal culture, like that's why we talk about this old thing about single moms raising their boys to be simp. I was doing a video on that. Somebody's doing something on that. Mm-hmm. Because right now, what we're seeing now is an epidemic of son husbands right now.
Right.
And we see that becoming a serious. That's why you did with the on your mama stuff. That single motherhood thing is really, 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 really creating even more problems. Because, you know, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. And that's really the problem where we are creating more men that think like Steve Harvey, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, man, we didn't have that problem. We didn't have that problem, Peaceful Life, when we were teenagers growing up, man. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it seemed like men just had greater standards, man. Now it's like anything go. Let me ask you a question. When you was in Thailand, what was the baby mama rate? You know, like if a woman had 2-3 kids, what was she seen as in Thailand?
Well, you know, there's obviously Thailand is different. Thailand has a caste system in it, and obviously women that have baby mamas in Thailand are really considered lower standard or lower quality in that terms regards. But there is Thai men that you know deal with women that have babies and whatever else. But you really get casted real bad in Thailand for those types of activities and behavior. In America, no. In fact, especially in the community, you know, this totally different culture, totally different. So when you're dealing with caste systems, you really pay a serious consequence for having kids out of wedlock or doing other things like that. You pay a price. I mean, it's horrible.
Do you think you would think with the dollar crashing and you know, communities being dissolved and so many people on edge, you would think that the women would be galvanizing themselves to put themselves in a position to find a husband? We understand that women now work and make money, but it seems like instead of them galvanizing themselves, they're doubling down with some of the same behavior. What do you think is the culprit to a lot of that?
Simps. Simps are still here. Simps are in the DMs. Simps are still sending them money. Simps are still paying for stuff. Simps are bailing out. Sometimes they have 2, 3, or 4 Sims at a time that are helping them. Because remember, they you know, again, we still live in a government empowerment system. They're still getting the welfare benefits. They're still getting assistance. A woman, many of these women, they can go sleep on some guy's couch if they sleep with him. Or what's going on is a lot of transactional sex behind the table, sex for rent, sex for car payments. All these other things are going on, being facilitated in those types of way. You know, so we still got the guys that are facilitating a lot of things, and we still have the programs that are still going and supporting this.
Right.
You know.
You know, what about the culture in what would you say about the culture in Thailand that impressed you the most as far as the femininity and how women conducted themselves and carried themselves? What impressed you the most when you was over there in the Philippines, Thailand? I'm sorry.
Well, it's not so much because, I mean, Thailand, let's be honest with you. If you're going in that Pattaya area, that's like Las Vegas on steroids. It's very transactional over there. But what impressed me more than anything else is that it's survival of the fittest over there.
Right.
There's no government empowerment over there. You gotta hustle. It's a hustle culture.
Right.
And that's why you see so many people are into the transactional trades. It is very much a hustle culture. And so that's the main difference over there. Now, will women, I think we always talk about it, me and you, that female nature is universal. The only thing
it's universal, right?
The only thing that's different, if you put the same systems in Thailand with government empowerment and everything else like that, the women would be the same across the board. But they don't have the government empowerment over there. So that can bring out, you know, and now the problem it has become is with social media, the exposure to social media is starting to change the game in terms of how women are becoming more modernized, even in Thailand and some of these places, even the Philippines, that the ability, there's just that they cannot execute like they do here in America because there's no social safety nets like there is here. You know, so what I saw, yes, there's more femininity, but even that is starting to change a little bit, even over there. It's just that they have to do what they have to do because they don't have there's nothing to fall back on. So you have to make good decisions. You have to hustle. You have to make that money, you know, and they cannot really treat men as disposable because they can't rely on big daddy government to save them.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny you said that, you know, we talk about, we talk about the current economy collapsing. Things are not as strong as they used to be. You know, it's going to take men and women working together in order to live. Right. What is your greatest fear with so many systems breaking down, and why, in your opinion, women should be more prudent when it comes down to dating, marriage, and relationships?
Well, the system's breaking down in terms of all it is really a reset because we've allowed things to get too far out of control. But unless there's an apocalypse, man, kosher, unless there's like some apocalypse, the problem is, like, once we go back to these Sims again, there's too many Sims flying around here, superheroes, white knights. In fact, they probably watch this stream and come at us and doxing, and they got a whole lot of female shaming stuff going on with them. it's just a problem. You know what I mean? Like, unless there's an apocalypse out here, I don't see anything changing right now.
Right.
How will it affect people? What they'll do is, okay, fine. I got kicked out of my apartment. I'll go lay up on some Sims house. I'll get one of these guys in my friend zone to take me in.
Right.
Or somebody in my friend zone that I know want to get me to pay some bills or give me some money. Or I'll go back to my parents' house or something like that. So there's always safety net for women,
right,
you know, in that regard. Unless we go into straight Ukraine type, then you'll see the immediate reset. You know?
You said something profound about earlier in the show, in the prior show, the first show about the marriage rates dropping, sales. That's actually, we're going to find that about sales with sales are declining. If I can find that stream, we'll go back to it. Was it sales?
I think David's Bridal went under.
David's Bridal, okay.
Yeah, they cited one of the issues was the reducing marriage rate, and not only that, it's just the marriage rate's going down, and then also people getting married may not have the money,
right,
that they usually used to have because of inflation, especially with inflation in terms of the food, and more importantly, the cost of living inflation. That is the real herder, because if an apartment building that used to cost $1,200 a month now costs $2,500 a month, that's going to hurt. That's going to cut into your food money, your gas money, it's going to kill your entire expenses. And it's not like salaries have moved up anyhow. You know, salaries are not like going up like that. So really, something has to give.
Right. Yeah, and it's given because men are becoming indifferent, man. They're becoming indifferent, man. And I think part of it, man, is just that men don't see any value in getting married anymore, man. They don't see no redeeming value. They're not valued. They're no fault divorce. And what's your take on the Republican Party, man, trying to come up with measures and safeguards to reduce no fault divorce?
He'll fall flat on his face. And the reason why is because even the women that are in Congress themselves are not going to do anything to make it, whereas you got to worry about females as a large voting bloc. And why would women give up? Women don't just give up power and strength like that. Anything that they like the system being imbalanced in terms of their favor, because that just gives them an extra protection and extra hours benefits. So I think that's only symbolic, but that will never happen.
You want a ring like this?
Hold tight.
Look at it sparkle.
Hell, go ahead.
I think it's right there somewhere.
Hell, keep taking me there for. All right, go ahead. All right,
Get some Lincoln Financial. Come on.
It's one of the go-to shops for a wedding or special occasion dress. David's Bridal is planning for bankruptcy to restructure heavy debt.
Kind of sad to see them file Chapter 11. I bought in a couple bridesmaid dresses from there and had nothing but good service. So,
promising to continue with orders, customer appointments, and business as usual in 300 stores, the only note on the door for shoppers displays holiday hours. David's Bridal vows to stay open. We weren't able to ask.
Hey, Peaceful, like, what is the pulse that you're seeing, man? You know, this from friends and men in general, colleagues, comrades, about the state of marriage, you know, their frustrations, their struggles, and dealing with modern women. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from a lot of these brothers, man?
Those that are coping and those that are completely checked out, or just doing how Black Ram would describe it, catch and release. There's only three ways, you know. There's a dudes like me who kind of like chill, enjoy, live more of a, I don't call myself a free agent lifestyle, but salute to CGA. You know, I'm not exactly turning them over in terms of the women, but I do live somewhat of a free agent lifestyle. But dudes are just sitting out on the sideline. Right. You know, I think guys will come in and They'll enjoy a woman and then they'll go back to their quarters or whatever. Or guys that are in marriages are just kind of like, hey, you know what? It's too expensive to get rid of her, so I might as well sit this one out if they're miserable. Or guys that are in good, healthy marriages. Those are those guys too.
Right.
But I think in general, is that, for the most part for guys, and even the guys that are like, a little bit on the simpish end, they're not taking the financial risk right now of getting into a marriage because of the high divorce rate and what they see in the behaviors and quality of the women. And then men's content has a huge effect on that as well.
Right.
They're watching these spaces, they're listening, they're getting information that their fathers should have taught them about messing with these single moms, being a cleanup man, and they're really starting to really evaluate the deals that are out here from a more logical perspective, and sometimes going against the brainwashing, because they realize that being a cleanup man, being a baby daddy, handing out your resources to modern women is a terrible idea, and this is constantly being reinforced to YouTube and social media. So they can have all the simp channels they want and cleanup channels they want, but men are going to eventually migrate to where there's truth.
Yeah, I agree, man. The tide and the stem to the tide is definitely changing, man. And I would say that things are not looking up for the better, man. I've never seen the level of disillusionment in men that have tapped out now more so now than ever. I haven't seen it, man. A lot of dudes are tapping out. Let's finish looking at this real quick. I'm going to play for more of that clip, and then we're going to end the second stream.
The company questions today, but the CEO did share a video response to customers.
David's Bridal has been the leader in the wedding industry for over 60 years. During that time, we've seen a lot of things change. Fashion trends, where brides find inspiration, and how customers shop.
Brick and mortar stores are in trouble. Everybody does everything the old mail order way.
More online, more boutiques.
Fewer weddings focus on the traditional dress, but for decades, bridesmaids have gathered at shops for fittings, stitching together memories as fond as the bride's wedding day. The Natick store not very busy on Friday afternoon.
There was more people working than there was in there.
David's Bridal is still accepting new orders and promising on-time deliveries.
We are, and will continue to be, open for business and hope to see you soon.
If a man decides to get married in modern times, man, if with the system now and the way the system is operating, man, what would you say to the average? If your boys want to get married to the typical modern woman, what advice would you give your boys, man, in this current culture, man, real quick?
They have to get married to him?
2000.
Say it again, brother.
Okay. They had to pick a wife right now.
Uh-huh.
I would tell them, if you're going to I want them to, look, we both agree. We both support marriage and family. If they're going to be married now, you're going to be married, you better find yourself a virgin. Put yourself into the 95th percentile of possible successful relationships, even though that can be backfire as well. Right. Number two, you better look at her family, look at her father, who her father's is, look at the coalition of people that support her. What's behind her? Because you're not only marrying a woman, you're marrying her family as well. So you better look behind her to who's going to be supporting, who's going to be a part. You're marrying into a family. And you have to look at it from a perspective of a business. And we're talking about marriage, finding it, knocking it out the ballpark the first time to give you the highest probability of success. Because we don't know that all statistics about if you want to have kids, it's better to have them in a marriage. Right. So with that being said, if they're going to do it, I would try and tell them to stack the odds in favor and make sure you marry a woman that's going to add some value to your life, vet her properly, do all those things.
Right.
And I think you have a higher probability of being successful. Or if you go to a culture like Africa somewhere, but the problem is when they come here, they're going to become westernized if you're not. So you got to really, your best bet is to start with the 95th percentile success rate. Getting a woman that has not been ran through is the first.
And that's hard to find. Hold tight.
She said, yeah. So I just said, so how your punk ass husband doing? That's the first shit.
Sharpe, first thing I said. Because he's a punk ass dude to me. I still hold strong to that one. I've never retracted that statement.
Okay.
I said, how your punk ass husband doing? Because I had heard she had got married.
Right.
She said, boy, I've been divorced 3 years.
Uh-oh. Light bulb go off? You start smiling?
I'm talking about, man, like a halogen light bulb, and they hadn't even been invented then. Ding! I ended up going to Memphis, met her for lunch. She told me about her divorce.
Why are you shaking your head for, man? What's wrong with that picture, brother?
Disturbing. Disturbing on all levels.
Right.
Look at the smile on his face. He said that with pride and dignity like a champion. Right. How many kids did that man make that woman have?
Right.
How many years would that woman marry? And how is that a victory for him? I don't understand that. I don't get the logic about it. You see how like low his self-esteem is? Like, you see how backwards his thinking is? You know, that dude's DNA is still swimming in her brain.
Right.
And every time you looking at that guy's kids, you're looking at his nuts. So what exactly is the victory for a 1% man to be celebrating that type of nonsense? You can't make this shit up. Man.
Yeah, I agree, man. He could have done a lot better. I never understood why men in Hollywood or men that got money settle for subpar women, man. I can see if he was an average dude, but he's a top 1% earner. It's top 1%.
Look at the smile on his face. Like, what are you smiling for, dude? Right. Like that's why Corey Holcomb called him goofy.
Right.
What are you smiling
and see, Corey Holcomb thinks like you and I. Corey Holcomb knows that she's a bust down, man. He thinks like you and I because he see it for what it is. But somebody said that black men are the most egalitarian, or more egalitarian than any other group of men. Or American men in general. What's your take on that, Peaceful Life?
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. Not only that, we're the most policed.
Right, I agree with it. Definitely more police, right.
That's why you have all these D-watchers watching. That's one of the things I learned even when I was going over in Thailand. I'm telling you something, man. You go over, see, everybody look at all these different guys, these YouTubers and whatever else. I've met guys, white guys. I did a lot of conversations and interviews with people. There's guys of other races that live freely, travel this world, enjoy all the benefits of travel. Black men are late to the table. You got there's guys in Thailand, places that have been there since the 50s, 60s, 70s, chilling, right, enjoying life, enjoying the culture. You know, and when black men do things, go places and do stuff, everybody's just policing, man. Policing.
I agree.
No other race of men lives like this. It's crazy.
I agree. Well, you know, your girl Amira was talking about the passport bros. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I'm actually, you get time. I want you to come in tomorrow too, if you can, because she talking about the passport bros are liars. And my whole point is, if you were in another culture, if you was in Arabia, you wouldn't even talk about the concerns of men. You should not put your mouth on the concerns of men. Who are you as a woman to talk about the concerns of black men when you want to do the same damn thing to the men in your culture? And I don't got nothing against Amira, but I'll tell her to her face, and I don't hate her per se. She's all right, she's cool. But I would say, who are you to tell men, or more or less make a broad condemnation of men if you have not more or less interviewed or more or less seen those men? But you're right, the visceral hate for black men being police is alarming, to say the least.
Well, let's take Amira and let's put her in Saudi Arabia. Do you think Amir? I don't really know the young lady. I really don't really absorb content because of that type of content with her. But imagine she's talking to Arab men.
Right.
You think she's going to lecture Arab men the way she lectures black men?
Right. She wouldn't. She would not. She would not.
And I blame black men for this.
Right. I agree. Martin McFly checked her,
Right.
And I know there's a conversation, but you're out of bounds. You should not be concerned about the affairs of grown ass men. Know your place.
Yeah. What is she doing talking to black men or men in general, grown ass men, about where they put their nuts?
Right.
Try that with an Arab man.
Right.
In fact, what are you doing on here anyhow? Should you be at home taking care of your husband? We are here in men's spaces on YouTube for anyhow. Anyhow, there's some people that are just grifters. But anyhow, look, I'm not hating on a person because, like I said, I don't want to really hate on a person, but you don't talk to men. What are you talking to us men for? You worry about what women are doing.
Right. And even if people are saying they don't get married, hey, listen, a passport bros run on the spectrum. I don't want to go on a tangent. Right. Some do get married, some don't get married. But if they don't get married, why do you care? White men been passport Joes. Shout out to passport Big Truck. They've been passport Joes for years. They all white boys been doing this for years. But all of a sudden now it's a damn problem when black men do it. It makes no sense, man.
Why do we have to qualify ourselves to anybody is my question to Amir.
I totally agree.
I do what the hell I want to do. I'm a free citizen. Right. I don't have no criminal record or have any. If I want to go somewhere and smash women, get married, not get married, who are you to tell me what I should do and what I should not do? When since I have to live my life for your approval? And that's what somebody needs to ask her. What business is yours? Where I go or what I do. And that's the problem. We let certain people come and talk to us any kind of way. I'm like, this is the type of goofiness that they try to put on black men and try to force us to accept it. No other race of men. You're not going to go over there and talk to them Arab dudes like that.
Right.
So don't come over here and talk to us like that.
Right. And even to her point where they're not getting married, I'd say, so what?
So what? That's none of your, business.
It's none of your business if they don't get married.
They trying to put all these standards on us. I go over there, Thailand, there's dudes that been over 30, 40 years. They ain't listen. Nobody's bothering them dudes. White dudes, guys from Australia, England, all over Europe that's just been chilling over in Thailand and other places. They come there. Guys come there, they enjoy their time. They ride into town like cowboys and ride back out with their hat. Nobody bothers those dudes. No other race of men are living under this scrutiny.
No, I totally agree. I'm just finished listening to what Steve Harvey said. Hold tight.
I said, I'm divorced too. She said, boy, shut up lying. Because it hadn't went public.
Right.
And she said, shut up. I know you got married again. And I said, no. She didn't really believe it. It took me 2 weeks to convince her. We talked on the phone that New Year's Eve. She was in Hawaii with her kids. I'm on the phone with her all night, man. Just remembering stuff. Hadn't seen her. In Valentine's Day 2006, she came to New York. That was it, dog.
She ain't left your side since?
No. And God said, that arrival and departure sign, you're going to take that down off the wall.
Wow.
I showed it to you one time. You didn't get it then. And after her, man, I mean, really, you look at my career and my life after her, it's just been a rocket shot.
You credit her for everything that we see Steve Harvey sitting here today.
What's your take on that? You think she played a vital role in his ascension?
No.
Tell me why.
Because that's the reason why he's always sick all the time is because his life is based around serving her.
Right.
And that is just an added task for him. But he's just such a simp that he doesn't that's just his mentality and mindset. That's how he panders. But he's trying to project something of a winning. When it's like that happy wife, happy life guy. Like that guy, you go over to the house and he's wearing the apron, he's mopping the floors. He said, I'm gonna cook something for my wife today. She coming home, because I'm gonna make it. It's all about what she say goes. What she say goes, and that's the type of guy. That's the type of guy we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make sure I take care of that because that's the only woman I've ever had. No one I'm ever gonna get. That's what he sound like. You can't really make, like how do you? That's what he sounds like. Like he's, he's definitely a happy wife, happy life dude.
Oh yeah. And if he want to be a simp with his balls in the jar, more power to him. One day I'm be me. I don't go by that happy wife, happy life group of shit.
He doing the dance and shit.
Right. I take care of my woman as long as she take care of me, but I'm not gonna be tap dancing to please no woman. Because if I'm tap dancing, then I'm not living. If I'm not living, I'm not living my purpose. So I'm not gonna be tap dancing. Oh, my wife said so. So no, I don't do that goofy stuff, man.
You know, I'll tell you a story, man. There was one of these times, man. You know, I used to work 22 years in law enforcement, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the guys, we was clowning. They was clowning one of the guys, right? This guy's like a tough cop of all cops, right?
Right.
And the dude said, "Look, man, I went by this dude's house one day, man, and he said, and he walked up to the door and he knocked on the door, and this dude's in the kitchen with an apron on and shit, cooking and cleaning. And his wife is sitting on the couch.
He was on one.
So tough as he talks on the job, the dude was like a house bitch.
Right.
Like not that mention clean up, but the way he said his dude's wearing an apron and shit. So dudes are clowning like, you clown dudes all the time, right? You know, and he talking all that stuff, man. You know, and this is the type of dudes that you just know their balls have been clipped. You know this is a sackless man. Mm-hmm. And look at the smile on his face. That smile is disgusting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He has no self-respect. I mean, none.
Right.
And he's been conditioned to think that he's winning.
Right. But he's clearly not winning, my damn opinion. But hold tight.
You credit her for that. The man that you became, the way you dress, the way you talk, the things that you have going on great in your life. You said, that woman over there?
Because I know what it is. Now, a lot of dudes won't do that. And I understand that. You want to get your shine on, you this and you that.
No.
Yeah, but I was that before, and I wasn't this or that.
Right.
I was a comedian before.
Right.
I was a TV star before. So you tell me what the difference is. It got to be her.
Right.
Because for the first time, man, I had peace at my house. Oh. When you got peace at the crib, dog, you can plug in your battery pack and get rejuvenated to go out here and deal with the rest of this.
But how can he have peace at his house when he left his first wife? Peaceful life.
I don't know what's going on.
Shout out to top. Sorry, he'll speak. Shout out to that brother. But how can he have that if he left his first wife? He left his first wife, or second wife, I believe.
Right.
And then it appears that he's under stress now because he's doing what Marjorie tell him to do. It doesn't make any sense to me, man.
That's his servitude to the queen. It's like that male hyena. And he loves his queen. And even though he's like low ranking and in servitude and worshiping, what's that image of that hyena I used to have, man? That's the way how a male hyena talks. You know, he's so happy to serve the queen. I'm so happy to have her, boys. I tell you, man, I ain't never had no woman like this in my whole life. You know, like that's how he sounds.
Right.
You know,
Right.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's a lot of unconscious simps, man. And unconscious simps, for the guys that are tuning in, it stands for, it's a term that I created. I didn't create the word simp, but I did more or less amalgamate it into my own phraseology. And it stands for supplementing irrational male patterns. Men begin to supplement irrational male patterns of behavior when you more or less placate to a woman, and that placating goes against your values and your system and your principles. The problem is, Peaceful Life, many boys and men don't have any values. And if they do have values, they have been more or less sequestered at the behest of the women that they're dealing with. What's your take on that, real quick?
Oh, absolutely. And especially these boys raised with a lot of these single moms. They've been raised to be cleanup men. Mm-hmm. And they've been raised to be, subservient to women and worship women and to see women as just these queens and these goddesses. Even you hear the Hotep brothers and some of the pro-black guys, my queen, my goddess, my this, my that. That's how the men are raised, especially the black men, many of them.
Right.
And it's not a problem if those women were that. Mm-hmm. But we know that every individual is unique, and when you give people what they haven't earned, it can go to their head. And then it becomes an expectation. That's why you see now that even with black men, we're like some of the most attacked and shamed when we step off the reservation or step off code, because our women in general don't really care about anything that we think or have to say, unless we're talking like this simp right here. Unless we're talking about serving and worshiping. Look at the smile on that dude's face.
Right.
It's disgusting, you know. And he comes from, you talk about subjugation, he comes from that male hyena perspective, you know, because he doesn't see him. He see his value as serving her. That's it.
Right. He sees his value through the lens of a woman instead of seeing his value inherently within himself. That's why I said on Peaceful Life, you should never fall in love. You should love within reason. Because falling in love is not only a detriment to your purpose, but it's a detriment to your mind and also your soul, body, and spirit. I see it happen all the time, man, as I said earlier in the earlier show, in practice, man, in therapy. Many men have subjugated themselves so much that they don't have an identity. And one of the things I noticed, Peaceful Life, a lot of men say they get lost once they get married. Have you heard men talking about they lose their identity once they get married? And before you answer that question, guys, in the meantime, hit the like button. Donate to the channel real quick. We're going to end the stream in a minute. It's been a good show. Peaceful Life is funny as, you know what, funny as hell, man. And the robot just told me taxes are up, you know, inflation is high. And the robot told me to tell you brothers, go get the likes up and feed the Yeah, you should love within reason, because when you love outside of reason, then it becomes illogical. When you love outside of reason, then it becomes irrational. When it becomes irrational, what you're doing, you are supplementing an irrational male pattern of behavior. And when you do that, then you become broken. And that's why so many men are broken, because in the clinical world, we talk about something called the external locus of control. The external locus of control means, Peaceful Life, that people say they believe that the external world, which can be a woman or any other thing, dictate how they respond as a man. But when a man has what's called internal locus of control, he has the intestinal fortitude to rise and stand firm when things are going on outside of his world. But because he has an intestinal fortitude and his value system is fortified, then whatever's going on outside of his head, he's not moved by it. He's going to stand firm on his square. And that's why men need to have what's called internal locus of control when it comes down to dealing with the modern woman, and when it comes down to more or less projecting the values and the boundaries that they need and want to get the outcomes that they deserve. So let's finish listening to this real quick, guys. And donate to the channel, guys. We haven't. Me and Peaceful Life, we're going to end the stream in a few, but I want you guys to finish hearing this. Hold tight.
Shit you gotta go deal with.
Right.
Cause hey man, you know, them folks out there, they not finna change. Racism out there.
Right.
It's on TV, it's on the internet, it's alive and well. She would give me the juice and the charge I needed to go back out there. She encouraged me. She told me I was something when I felt bad. She gave me but we was at the house laughing, having a good time, man. If you look at, since 2000, we got married in 2007. If you look at from 2007, I got.
Shout out to my man, the Quiet Storm. Yeah, man, Peaceful Life had me rolling, man. He said that for tonight's therapy session, I've never seen brother make kosher temporary walk on his own live stream. And that's a deal, right? I appreciate it, man.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Crazy as hell, man.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hold tight, man.
Got 5 on it.
Oh boy.
All right, go ahead, Peaceful Life. You about to say something, brother? Go ahead.
No, man, I'm just thinking about how dangerous this guy is to women, black women in general. Because here's what he's doing. First of all, he eliminated all standards for women, talking about they don't have to bring anything to the table. Then he's given a dialogue and a narrative of how he fought or attacked another man for his tackled another man through a character or whatever, through his wife or ex-wife, so that he can get her, simping basically. Then he's given us this narrative of how he worships his wife and pedestalizes her and kisses her butt. Now what these women are hearing is this. You don't have to bring anything to the table. You don't have to work on yourself. You don't have to offer a man any value. A man's supposed to do everything. He's supposed to be worshipped. And if the guy doesn't behave like Steve Harvey, then you should not entertain him.
Right. That's a good point. Right.
Now what happens is these women get out here in the market, and the guys look at them like peace, or they tolerate them just enough to pound them out for a night, tell them what they want to hear, and drop them off. And the women are getting no outcome. You see how this cycle is vicious cycle.
It's a very vicious cycle.
Self-destructive for our women. These guys are the enemy of our women, and they talk about racism. This is just as bad as racism. Because one of the real counters to dealing with racism is having strong family, strong community. And you can't have strong communities without the foundation of the nuclear family. But everything he says goes against what men value in the real world, the men that are not simps, and that would actually be marrying these women. And he's making these women ineligible for marriage by creating unrealistic expectations and standards based upon his own simp ideology. So he's keeping these women single by lying to them and stealing money from them. And that itself is evil. It's evil. You know, and those women hated Kevin Samuels, who was trying to save them. Celebrated his death. But they'll listen to this guy right here who's basically the reaper for their future. But they don't understand, and our women have been conditioned so much to be pandered to. When somebody is actually on your side and trying to help you, whether somebody is trying to lie to you, exploit you, and is a defective man. He's a defective man who has lost his masculinity, and he's a failure other than the fact that he's rich. And that's the problem with the Black community now. Just because somebody is rich, you guys will listen to them. They can tell you anything. They could be the most weaselly person with terrible character, and he's selling them their own misery. Millennials aren't getting married like it. The Black community has some of the lowest statistics. Don't even talk about Gen Z. Gen Z ain't touching them. And there's guys that are not coming in like in my generation that are divorcees and Generation X and whatever else, and Boomer 2. Well, the Boomer 2 Sims are bad. But the guys, if they got out of a marriage the first time, they're like chilling on the sidelines. You know, you find them dudes in Africa somewhere, or Thailand somewhere, or here somewhere just chilling. Or whatever. So he's creating this problem, not him, but his mentality and mindset. You actually, say people that don't care about you lie to you. And what he's doing is it's just creating more female misery.
No, right. It's actually feeding into their pathology, to say the least.
Yeah. And the women will believe this guy cares about them. I mean, like you can't make this stuff up. Like a guy like that, they'll look at a guy, oh, you guys are misogynistic, horrible people. But if you listen to this show and you listen to men's content, and you understand who's really helping you the most, a guy like this who panders to you and lies to you, or it's like women that listen to Lizzo. Lizzo gonna send you to the grave.
Right.
He gonna send you to the grave.
She's sabotaging her own self. I totally agree, brother. Hold tight.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
Got Family Feud in 2009. The book came out 2009. Miss Universe after that. The talk show after that. Little Big Shots after that. The Judge show. The radio show got big after that. 4 books later, the movie came out, Think Like a Man. All this after that. What else is it? I just locked in with this chick, man, and she gave me a lot of good advice, man. She made me see things in a different way. And it was her, man, and it's okay, man. It's people don't want to do that. Now, I know they tired of hearing me saying, but what you want me to say? Shit, I ain't got nothing else for you. Shit, it wasn't just all me.
Right.
She gave me the mindset to be me. And that's crazy, man. It's like there's a dude named Nuri Muhammad. I wish I had my phone, man. You could hear what this dude said about relationships.
Fair use. But do you think she played or she was integral in his success, Peaceful Life?
No. Nothing to do with that. That's his hard work and drive. If anything, you know, she has nothing to do with that. And not only that, you can tell her she doesn't even like him. You know, that's not even her type of man. Right. Look at the dude that she was married to.
Right.
And look at the dudes that have been in her relationships before.
Right.
They don't look nothing like him.
Right.
You know, and that's a dude again, pandering again to women. You know, now if he wants to make an argument that him simping for her has motivated him to work even harder to create a even better lifestyle for her as a motivation for him to do those things even more, that makes sense to me. But her being the motivation in terms of her encouraging him and supporting him, that's hard to believe.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she did have some level of business acumen that we don't know about. I don't know, but I find it hard to believe that she's the major reason for its success. I find that hard to believe, unless she had an agenda and she was pushing it.
Man,
so, I don't know.
That woman ain't interested in that stuff. She's interested in getting, you know, facials and massages and.
Because you know what. He said one time, Peaceful Life, sorry for coming across you, but he said one time that Marjorie was more or less telling him he needed to step his game up or do something, you know, almost like he wasn't making enough money. He had to step it up.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. That's the thing about it. Like, if anything, she's like, look, you need to make more money so I can get a bigger house in Beverly Hills. That's it. You know, I mean, you know, why can't we live next to the Bezos? Yeah. If anything, she's saying that. If that's motivation, yeah. Indirectly, yeah. If he wants to make that argument, yeah. Maybe, you know, either way, it's still, the outcome is still more money. But at the end of the day, you know, this idea that person is some inspirer who don't even like you, it's almost laughable.
Right. I'm going to read something real quick. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. And it's going to prove our point. Let's finish listening to this real quick on Peaceful Life. And I know you got to go to bed at some point because you're on your sleep clock. But I hold tight. All right, hold tight. Let's finish listening to this a little bit.
Relationships. It's the coldest thing. He said, other than your relationship with God, who you choose to spend the rest of your life with is the single most important decision you will ever make. Because your other half will either your other half will be your better half or make you half of what you could be. Wow. She will either inspire you to greatness or reduce you to mediocrity. And then he went on to talk about, he quoted Minister Louis Farrakhan, and then at the end of it he said, so choose wisely. And that was the first time, man, that I'd ever chose wisely. And it was the best thing, because a woman like an elevator button, man, they can take you up or down.
Oh my God.
If you get the right one, you got something. You get the wrong one, but it's like a man to a woman. If you get the right man, you can go somewhere. Right. You get the wrong man, you off. Like I heard you say one time, well, I was laughing so hard. You said, come to the table that can make another you. What else she need to slide up to the table with? And y'all need to quit tricking yourself with this new way of thinking. Because this new way of thinking ain't getting y'all no damn where. I'm sorry. I got in trouble on one time. This group came after me because I said Marjorie belonged to me.
And they said she's not a possession. She's a person. She's a human.
She is. Time to get to know us. And I'm sitting up here looking at some people that ain't got shit. I'm sitting up here going, y'all ain't got a relationship, a good ass job, a career. I'm paying for colleges and shit. I don't know how I'm listening to y'all making some damn decisions. Y'all ain't got one boyfriend that done work thus far. I don't know how the hell you finna tell.
Is Steve Harvey delusional, Peaceful Life? And so tell me why.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. What he is mind torturing. But I tell you, listening to that type of pathetic talk, it's really disturbing, man. I really, that's like simping on a new level. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Coach. Man.
I believe Marjorie's playing. I believe Marjorie's playing the long game. If she was inspiring him, let's say she did inspire him. Did she inspire him for the purpose of the relationship? Or was it from a selfish mean? I believe she's playing the long game, man. I believe. And so, yeah, go ahead.
I believe that he kisses so much ass. He kisses so much ass to get along with this woman. I know she gets gag reflexes. I know she gets upset stomach. I know she I know she's like she probably sees him and smiles. Yeah, that fake smile. Said, just let me catch him and get him a little piece of pussy. Just let him do so. I need a reason to get rid of this motherfucker. She's looking for a reason to get rid of him. She's thinking to herself, this dude is pathetic. I gotta find her. Why doesn't he cheat? He won't cheat. I can't get him to cheat. I can't get him to do something in public so I can get rid of his ass and cash my check. She's ready to cash out.
Oh, she's ready to cash out, right?
Because ain't nobody trying to sleep with no dude that talk like that. That is the most box drying conversation. Like, women listen to that shit and it dries the box. So he's probably begging all week to get that box. That is the most box drying conversation a man can have with a woman right there. I mean, women don't want to hear that nonsense.
So let's look at this real quick, this article, man. So Steve Harvey and wife Marjorie are facing divorce rumors back in 2019 after an article came out on RadarOnline.com. 2 days ago, Marjorie posted on Instagram of the couple that paints a different picture. Is Steve Harvey getting a divorce from his wife of 11 years? Marjorie, it's a question on everyone's mind after some rumors surfaced on RadarOnline.com. The report claims that the host of Steve Harvey's show is on a hush-hush mission to liquidate assets ahead of a divorce battle. It says that he put 4 of his Texas properties on the market and already sold 2. It goes on to say that a bitter blowout prompted Marjorie to take their daughter on a 1-month-long trip around the world. Marjorie has 3 daughters, Jason, Laura, and Morgan, from a previous marriage. So this goofy woman is taking his money. It sounds like she's spending out of control.
Right.
And it prompted him to a divorce. And that's why I tell men, a woman like his mother would have never done that to him. My wife would have never done that because I would have never allowed it. What's your take on this foolishness, man?
I believe it. That was her move to get out the door. But she was ready to cash her chip in because, obviously she's had enough gag reflexes sleeping with him with that type of talk. So what he did was he kissed her ass so bad that she couldn't justify just getting rid of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's doing. But that was her trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically pandered his way back into that. He pandered, he kissed, he dragged, he probably got on his knees and crawled, everything, begged, and until she couldn't get rid of him. Like, oh, I can't justify getting rid of him. So he's basically begging his way to stay in that relationship is what it really sounds like. Right. And that's the problem with this pathetic situation with him. It's like, he's doing whatever he got to do to stay in there, man. Like, imagine what he really is like behind. Like, if the cameras go off and you see him and her at interaction, you probably see a woman that don't want to have sex with him because women like who they like. Women are cruel, man. And if a guy is a simp in a relationship, that is the most abusive woman on the planet.
I agree.
It's crazy.
I agree. I agree. I agree, man. You're a fool. You're a fool, but you're telling the truth. So Marjorie would not allow herself to be pushed around. Money talks, and her man had better provide. Listen. Now imagine who's leading the relationship. Marjorie would never allow herself to be pushed around. Money talks, and her money had better. Her man had better provide.
Right.
So who the hell's gonna listen to Steve Harvey? I wish my woman would damn tell me I better provide, or any woman. I wish a woman would tell me that. And when the money's gone, she's gone, one of the sources claim. Do you see what we're talking about?
Yep.
Hold on, Ingram. That's what we're talking about, man. And Steve Harvey, sadly, he's a sucker for love.
That dude's a clown, man. I agree with Corey Holcomb, man. I agree totally with Corey Holcomb. That dude is a complete clown.
A sucker for love, man.
A sucker for love. A simp projecting to men what manhood masculinity is supposed to be about. Man, I know she's just waiting. Like when she took that month away, she's like, at least I gotta have sex with this loser for a month. Like, oh my God, hopefully he goes and cheats. That's a month to get him a chance to cheat.
Right.
That's called, she starved him for sex for a month to try and get him to cheat. Because she's looking for a reason to we probably put private investigators on him. Get him to make a mistake. But he probably just stayed in the house and cried. You know what I mean? You're about to leave me.
Right.
You know, and I know she's looking for remember, she's not going to let this last much longer. And the reason why is because she's losing, like she's losing more of her beauty. Like she's like,
Wait a minute, Ingram. See, hold on, piece of life. That's why these shows are so important, and that's why we talk about gravy train sipping.
Right. This can't go on much longer.
But hold on, piece of life. I'm gonna prove my point because Steve Harvey looked just like a gravy train sip in this damn picture with this woman, man. But hold on, let me finish reading this real quick. And you tell me if Steve Harvey don't look like a gravy train sip. This isn't the first time Steve and Marjorie had been up against divorce rumors. Just like last year, the outlet claimed that Steve was leaving his wife for Kris Jenner, and Marjorie wanted $40 million for the split. My wife came to me and said, "Do we have $40 million?" Steve joked with the Atlanta Journal. He said he continued to say that he was sick of the falsehoods being printed about him. They act like I don't have a family. They act like my kids can't read. They just go out and destroy people. Now guys, y'all look at this and look how old Steve Harvey looked. Hold on. This is what happens, men.
right.
When you get with women, they don't respect and honor you. They'll make you a gravy train simp. Yeah, that's gravy. That's gravy train simping in the finest, man. Because haven't you seen men that dealt with Marjorie Harvey, Peaceful Life, and they look old and tired like a hound dog because that woman's stressing him the hell out.
Well, but what does her ex-husband look like? He don't look nothing like this dude.
He don't look he's older than Steve Harvey, and he looks younger.
Let me see. Marjorie Harvey ex-husband. Like, doesn't that just tell you right there that you ain't her type? Like, look at that dude. Like, where's he at?
Yeah, this shit. Oh my goodness.
You can't make this stuff up. Oh.
You can't make it up, man. And in other words, until Steve and Marjorie directly addressed that divorce rumor, it should be treated as nothing more. But if social media is any indication, we hope Marjorie and Steve look pretty solid together. Well, of course they're gonna say that, man. Gravy train simping at its finest, man.
You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make it up, man.
Gravy train simping, man. And that's what we talked about, Peaceful Life. That kosher hypergamy. That's carnal hypergamy at its finest. And that's why men got to be so astute, man. Right. Because a lot of times in the end, because they're not astute, this is the last one piece of life. They be dealing with something like this for dealing with women like Margaret. Hello. All right, that's it. That's it, Peaceful Life. Make this last.
How did we get here in this world, man? How did we get here in this society?
Make this last forever, man.
And I don't know how we got here. Coach, I have no idea. I don't think we can reverse this without an apocalypse.
Yeah, I agree.
Gone too far, man.
I agree, man. I agree. I totally agree, man. So listen, we about to end the stream. It's been good, man. But what did you get from this show, man? It was a good stream, man. You fun as hell, man. I ain't never had nobody make me get up, man. But go ahead, brother.
I mean, what I got from it really is that what we have right now is that we have too many voices out here talking to men, talking to young men. I'm especially concerned for young men. Mm-hmm. If they got to understand something, you got to qualify the people that you listen to. Don't just base it on money. Right. Base it on actually a person's knowledge and whether or not they're giving you information that is helpful for you. Study people's background. Study their history. Look at where they come from. And ask yourself the question, is this person making sound decisions and logical decisions or masculine decisions? Or is this person just another one of these pandering simp idiots that do self-defeating things like a Steve Harvey and that celebrate mediocrity and that celebrate being cleanup men and white knights and heroes and that subjugate themselves and lower themselves and see women as up on a pedestal and worships and kisses butt and do all these things that these guys do. Who are you listening to? And I think Corey Holcomb summed it up very careful. You're listening to a goofy. Right. A guy that makes terrible decisions in terms of his relationship choices. And the advice that he's giving you, if you apply it to your life, you're not going to have the money to bail yourself out like a Steve Harvey. It could be catastrophic failure for you. So you got to be careful who these guys are you listen to.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Now, we're about to end the stream, man. It's been a great show. Ingram is funny. Guys, go check out Peaceful Life's channel. We got another great show coming up on tomorrow with Dre with Love Crossing Borders. Man, if you want to come through on tomorrow, feel free. It's gonna be a very good show, man. The main thing is to live your life on your own terms, guys. That's the main thing. Living your life on your own terms, not being encumbered by the masses, and also, man, more or less reassessing your value system, and then if it needs to be reassessed, to more or less set up structures and systems that are gonna be beneficial to you. Peaceful Life, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming through, brother. You're a funny dude, man. But I know you got to get your rest, man. Yeah, and
I got to get my rest now. And I just want to say one more thing. Stop qualifying people just based upon being rich. Right. Some of the most stupid, ignorant people are rich. Right. You wouldn't go listen to, well, I don't know if Glorilla is rich. You won't listen to some of these people just because they have money. That's it. Anyhow, I'll leave it at that.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate it, brother. If you want to come do it tomorrow with me and Dre, fine. If not, I understand. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. And I'll be seeing you soon, brother. Be well.
All right. Peace out, my brother.
All right. Be good. Before there was the manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was. I was that Sigma male crying out in the wilderness for justice and equality for those that are downtrodden and broken, those that are voiceless. I was the kosher clinician before I was the kosher clinician on the internet. My plight and my war cry for justice and humanity is nothing fake. But I've always been kosher. Then sit back and get this kosher funk.
Hello everyone. Is there equality in America, fact or fantasy? First of all, I would like to salute all fellow human beings and most graciously those who are beacons of light for justice and righteousness. To vocally explain the tenets of equality, fact or fantasy, I must begin with the combination of two alphabets, I and F, which spells if. There's no respect of person, but gives protection to all them that fear him. So therefore I ask you this profound and non-scholastic question. If there was equality in America, will I be standing here today? You decide, fact or fantasy.
This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition.
Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated. A book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern times. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV. Emasculated. Go get your copy now.
Fire for your mind. Kosher Clinician.
If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Asking fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
Tell them run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it all. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line.
Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no face, don't need no phonies, no, no, no. Need no snakes, no only homies, down for show. On go, go, go. Get a book and get the front and we load up and roll, roll, roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more, more, more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no, no, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a winner. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock, car waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with take girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah, 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 yeah. Why check cash, yeah, I need my ass. Why check cash, yeah, I need my money line. Why check cash, yeah, I need my money line. Why check cash, yeah, I need my. I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up.
Swipe, 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 swipe.
Swipe, 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 swipe. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Swerving, making plays, Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says, yeah. Ballpoint on the beat, ballpoint make them dance, yeah. We came up from nothing, now we're making plans, yeah. Just picked up some bands, Tell her ask it questions when I come and grind. On the run like a runaway, only way is the money way. New chain, no jewelry, no gaze, don't fool me. 21, been a boss, play the game, pay the cost. Heard you rolling TikTok, need to get another watch. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Tell 'em run it all.